Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. AEW Dynamite is in the books, and once again, the wrestling transfer window is in full force as Tony Khan has picked up the checkbook once again as we see another shocking debut on Dynamite this week. We'll get into all of that and a lot more on the Dynamite review show. But yes, once again, Tony Khan whipping out the dollars for AEW. But anyway, before we get to that, let's talk about AEW. And the opening match was Kenny Omega versus Rocky Romero. Kenny Omega getting back into title contention, the big bout machine. Always great to see Kenny Omega on my TV screen. It's great to see him as healthy as he can be, especially because he's got obviously diverticulitis, which is a really bad illness on there. One winged angel though from Kenny Omega. Rocky Romero we see sporadically in action on AEW. It's always good to see him as well. But Kenny Omega looking to get back into that, championship, should we say form a little bit? But yeah, it's really good to see him. He wins with a one-winged angel. He interviews Kenny Omega after the match, and in fact, what happens is when he's getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone, they announce that the winner of Andrade El Idolo and Swerve Strickland in the main event will face Kenny Omega next week. And the top two contenders will then go to face off at Grand Slam in Australia for the shot at the World Championship at Revolution. Kenny Omega responds by pretty much saying, he is the best. It's the best he's felt in a long time, and it doesn't really matter who he has to go through to do it, but he's going to get that shot at Revolution. Hangman, though, Hangman Adam Page, comes out to interrupt, and he basically said, truth be told, he would rather be fighting beside him, but against him. But with the world title at stake, it's a totally different thing. But he did mention that he overlooked Samoa Joe and the Ops and was thinking about defending the title against people like Kenny Omega. So Hangman there pretty much saying that he was overlooking Samoa Joe, overlooking the Ops because he really wanted to face the best bout machine for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that's interesting as well. But we mentioned Swerve. He comes out as well. And he said he doesn't really care who he's going to get through. He'll go through hell and high water to get that shot. To get to Grand Slam. And then whoever he takes on the Grand Slam, he's a house call away from taking on MJF at Revolution. And he thinks he's got as much right to be the world champion as the other two does for sure. But Don Callis and his ever-growing family are out next. And, with Andrade in the main event, and, Swerve Strickland looking past Andrade, probably not wise on this, but, they get, uh, you know, there's loads of chasing around afterwards. It's a bit of gaga involved there, but you know what? Yeah, the match was a little bit of a more of a. I think what was being told was more of the story after the match than the actual match itself. Um, you combine it with the promo, solid start to Dynamite as we generally expect with AEW. But yeah, that was a real sort of, I don't want to say enhancement, maybe clearing a lot of that ring rust, because obviously Kenny Omega wants to get back to being the best bout machine. These matches, Josh Alexander, of course, last week, incredible match with him. This week, a good match, albeit slightly shorter, more one-sided, without disrespecting Rocky Romero. But this was more about this number one contender's opportunity and who's going to win it at Grand Slam to go to Revolution. And then we move to another great match. Ace Austin and John Moxley. Now, this was a Continental Championship Eliminator match. So if Ace Austin won, he would then get an opportunity to face John Moxley for the gold. So essentially, AEW's version of a non-title match in many ways. This was a really fun match, and I think the one thing that has been missing recently, and new signings, we're going to get to another one in a minute. Um, Ace Austin's kind of like, I don't know where he kind of fits in. He was signed, we never really saw him. We've seen him, and I was hoping we'd see him a lot more already on my screens in 2026 and back end of 2025 for that matter. But if this is the start of seeing Ace Austin on my screen, I'm happy with what and we get more of it. The more we get of that donut eating Ace Austin, the better. This was a really good match, very fun match on my screen. John Moxley does get the pinfall with the Death Rider. And after the match, though, Kenosuke Takeshita comes out and they stare down, and he makes it clear that he wants that championship from John Moxley. And as he does so, out comes Doyle and Davis. D&D, Dumb and Dumber? No, Doyle and Davis. Two people you do not want to see down a dark alley, I can assure you of that. They lay Moxley out from behind. Takeshita walks away. I'm wondering where they're going with this. There's a lot of contention or discontention in the Don Callis family. We're not sure where we stand with the Death Riders. What's going on here? That's an interesting part. Another good interesting bit to add to the meat onto the bones, so to speak, in AEW. But we'll find out soon enough where we go with that. But we're not long before we get into some more action on this. And this was the TNT Championship match between Mark Briscoe and El Clone, who makes his debut quite recently. Someone like Hologram's nemesis. I know Hologram's out injured at the moment. The more quicker Hologram can get back, the better in my eyes. That being said, I have an issue with this match. And you know me, I am a grumpy old bastard. So I'm very much a old school wrestling fan. In this match, Briscoe hits the J Driller on El Clone, which is technically Briscoe's finish. El Clone decides to nip straight up as he gets dropped in it. Literally, he gets dropped on his head and he's nipped straight up. I can't. That is just for me. It's a no-no. The fans loved it. The commentators loved it. And look, if that's your thing, you're more entitled to love it. I cannot, and I still refuse to have no selling and kickouts at one. It's not my taste at all. The match itself, on the other hand, was a real fun matchup between the two. I really enjoyed it. Briscoe getting the win with kind of like a real deep roll up to score the victory in that one. But I'm not keen on the El Clone popping straight back up from a fucking J Driller, which basically in my mind that devalues and just makes that move obsolete now. It's not important now. When I see a J Driller now, I don't go, oh my God. I just go, well, El Clone nipped up out of that. So what are we talking about? That's my view on it. And listen, you're all entitled to your own. If you believe it, if you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. That is totally cool. And I'm totally cool with you loving it. It's not, but for me, not my taste. That's all. I'm a very, very big fan of protecting your finish. Didn't like it here. However, love the match. Like Briscoe winning with a deep roll up keeps El Clone looking strong. But Mark Briscoe then takes the mic and he says that he's a fighting champion and he has opened up the challenge for Collision right now for someone to accept ready for Saturday. Well, the lights go out. Some really great stuff comes on the Tron. Love the theme song, a little bit of goosebumps here. Don't know why. But anyway, the lights go out. Really good music on the Tron. Out comes the Psycho Killer and newest member of AEW, Tommaso Ciampa, accepting Mark Briscoe's challenge for the TNT Championship this weekend at Collision. Wow. Did it come out? It's kind of come out of left field a little bit. I'll be straight with you because we were talking this past weekend, with the guys at 10 Count Podcast. Go and check them out. By the way, Jay Star and Tai P. And we were saying that, where should Ciampa go? And we all agreed really that with the stacked roster that AEW have got, you could kind of, if he goes in there, would he get lost in the shuffle? Well, you got to try and think, where's he going to fit after this? Like, he's going to have this match with Briscoe. He probably won't win, and that's not because he's not, nothing can get it. He just probably won't win it. But then where does he go? Does he join Don Callis with the ever-growing family? Does he go with a demand of Ricochet? Or does he do on his own? Where does he fit? And this is going to be an interesting one because we all said that perhaps go to the Indies, go to NWA, maybe test the water at TNA. I don't know. But ultimately, Tony Khan has got in there and has done the business and has brought Tommaso. I mean, it was quick. I mean, he got moved to the WWE Alumni section Monday, I think. And now Wednesday, he's rocked up a Dynamite. So look, 10-year stay at WWE's finished, and now he is all elite. We will see, but I mean, Jesus, this is getting to a bit now where how is Tony Khan going to keep everyone happy with his roster? This roster's like going crazy. I wouldn't want the bill. I mean, but look, you look at some of the matches you can have with Tommaso Ciampa included in this. Yeah, interesting. Interesting times. But I did, well, welcome to AEW Tommaso Ciampa to begin with. However, we move on. We'll see what happens with Tommaso Ciampa, but we move on. Is there peace in the Don Callis family? Well, Cole Fletcher was angry way at World's End with Okada because he took the screwdriver or wherever it was out of the ring where Fletcher had it for his match with Moxley. He didn't have it there. He was annoyed. He was frustrated. He was everything else. But he has forgiven Kalichke Okada, and the two men shake hands and they leave. Is there harmony now with the Don Callis family? I do not know. Now, apologies if the camera has zoomed in. I don't know what's going on with my camera at the minute. It's having a fucking meltdown. So apologies if all of a sudden you've seen, you don't want to see a lot of me, but you see more of me and now you're seeing just a fucking head. Apologies for that. But yeah, well, is there peace within the Don Callis family? Who knows? Well, we'll find out in a bit more detail, or in a bit more detail in a minute, if there's peace within the Don Callis family. I'm not too sure that there is, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's move on. MJF, the devil's favorite bastard. He comes out, but immediately, no sooner has MJF got in the ring and he is interrupted as the camera fucking zooms out again by Brody King. Now, these two seemingly on a big collision course. Are they going to be on the collision course in Grand Slam in Australia? Who knows? But anyway, um, my MJF decided that he was going to bring up some of Brody King's friends. Malachi Black, yeah, Alistair Black, of course. Um, and Buddy Matthews, who's currently out injured. But he kind of, you know, in kind of different reasons he brings them up. You need to listen to it. It's quite funny. And of course, Bandito as well. And yeah, suggests he pays him to protect Brody King. Now, he did say that Brody King was a far left supporter that looks like a Nazi. Anyway, now what this ends up being is next week on AEW, it is MJF and Brody King in a world title eliminator. And if Brody King was to pick up the victory, he will get a world title match at Grand Slam Australia in just a few short weeks' time. There's your money match right there. That could be a title eliminator where the eliminator wins and Brody King gets a shot at the Triple B of MJF. We will see. That's going to be an interesting contest next week on AEW Dynamite. Speaking of teams looking to climb the ladder, tag team looking to climb the ladder again, Young Bucks, and they want to climb that tag team division ladder one more time in AEW. Well, we'll find out if they do. In the future. They've got a long way to go, in my opinion. Lots of great tag teams. Doyle and Davis being one of them, by the way. Jesus. So lots of fun coming from Super Kick Party. The Young Bucks now got the money to be able to afford a Titantron and everything else, by the sounds of it, as they didn't have in 2025 and near the end there. But good to see the Bucks back. Anyway, chaps. World Women's. I was looking forward to this. Statlander and Thekla I was really, really looking forward to this tonight. This was right. I tell you what, did this match have mind-blowing spots, crazy ass stuff? No. Did this match have damn good wrestling? 1000%. This was great. I loved it. These two just perfectly matched in terms of everything and what they bring to the table. Chemistry on point. These two should be one of the forefronts of the women's division. Obviously, Mercedes Moné taking a hiatus for a period of time. Don't know how long she's going to be missing for. However, Feckler and Statlander put on a hell of a contest this week. Very, very, very enjoyable. But it was Saturday or Saturday Night Fever that picks up the victory for Chris Statlander. Although after the match, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale come out to celebrate with Stat, but they were interrupted by Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, who won the Women's Tag Team Championships. I tell you what, though, oh, do you know what? Maybe Megan Bain wants a shot at the Women's Championship. And I think when Megan Bain this time, because if memory serves me right, Megan Bain's had a shot at the Women's Championship before, wasn't successful. Um, when Megan Bain next goes for the Women's Championship, in my humble opinion, she needs to win that championship. I said the first time that she lost it that you've got to be careful that you don't devalue and derail someone there that's got an absolute lot of potential and someone that really is. When you say the word championship look, championship material, Megan Bain fits that to a T. The problem is the more time she gets an opportunity and the more time she loses the opportunity, in my opinion, devalues the talent. So if she is going for that World Women's Championship, the Women's World Championship, she needs to win it, in my opinion, on the next time. But we'll see. Are they going for the tag titles first? I don't know. If they do, and again, maybe they should win it. But when Megan Bain next challenges for the big one, she definitely needs to be coming out about the women's world champion. Excuse me. Now we mentioned earlier, peace in the Don Callis family. Kyle Fletcher shaking the hand of Kalichke Okada. Well, it didn't go down too well with Konosuke Takeshita, who decides to walk away from Carl Fletcher after a little conversation there. So all is not well in the world of in the world of the Don Callis family. This is going to come to a head in a very big way in the very near future. I, for one, I am all for this. I can't wait to see the Don Callis family implode in front of our eyes and see what's positioned and who's positioned as faces. We think Takeshita, maybe Carl Fletcher's going to have a face turn. Maybe that will bring back Ospreay and they'll fill up United Empire. We know, of course, Davis is there, but he's with Doyle at the minute. So who knows? Lots of crazy stuff. But the Don Callis family isn't quite all peace and harmony as it stands right now. But moving on, AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Well, FTR versus the Don Callis family. This was Doyle and Davis. This was, do you know what? Excuse me. I'm still suffering from a chest infection, so apologies. Um, this was a really fun, great tag team match that you're going to get with FTR. You know you're going to get that. Doyle and Davis have come in and have been like a wrecking ball since they've come into AEW television. So this was, in terms of expectations, was always going to be up there, and they absolutely smashed it out of the park. Really, really fun match. I love this. So much good stuff going on. And then, of course, remember earlier on when they attacked John Moxley on Dynamite? Well, John Moxley decided to hit Mark Davis with a Continental Classic Championship, which leads to the Shatter Machine, which leads to the 1, the 2, and the 3. And FTR retain said championship. I tell you what, though, I got to give AEW a lot of credit for this one because everyone has been waiting for Moxley to be kicked out of the Death Riders and things going on. Just when you think they do that, they find themselves warring with the Don Callis family. It's what's going to happen with this. I don't know. Will Moxley eventually get kicked out? What's going on? The Death Riders have got like they're kind of like broken off into a little bits and pieces, doing their own thing here and there. I like it. For someone that wanted the Death Riders to be over, I'm actually really warming to what's going on. And that's testament to the stories and booking of AEW right now. But anyway, Orange Cassidy with Renee Paquette. Cassidy was just running down Wheeler Yuta. Those two exchange words. Marina Shafir comes in, but before she can do anything, Tony Storm comes in, and I think we're heading towards a mixed tag match. Although I think Marina Shafir sent Mina some flowers. Anyway, great stuff for Twitter. That's going to be great. Orange and Tony as a tag team. You've got like these, it's kind of like the total opposite, right? You got Orange and Tony Storm, who are these great characters. They make you laugh every time you see them. And then you go to the other end and you got these two mean ass kickers in Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir, all seriousness. How they don't break is testament to them. But anyway, right. Main event time on AEW Dynamite. Swerve Strickland one-on-one with Andrade El Idolo. Wow, wow, what a great main event this is. And the main event once again, and don't forget the winner of this, I think goes on to Grand Slam, like I said earlier, to take on the winner of another match to become the number one contender for MJF at Revolution. But this was brilliant. I absolutely love this. And my God, these two, you could, you put in, you want to say, why would you watch AEW? If someone asked that question, just show them this match. This was fantastic. I really, really loved it. What I really loved as well, in my opinion, was the surprise finish to this, which saw Andrade hit a low blow before hitting the DM. There is a hidden joke in there for those of you that saw a Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair promo. Over the years, a year or so ago, to score the pinfall. And Andrade defeats Swerve Strickland and moves forward to Grand Slam. That was a shocker for me. I did not expect that one bit. I thought Swerve was a shoe-in for this. The camera cuts backstage, by the way. MJF is confronted by Andrade, confronted by Omega and Hangman Page, and he drives off in the car. To get that's how Dynamite ends. He just drives off in the car. But yeah, I thought tonight was a perfect blend of wrestling on this one. In-ring action, great storyline advancement in this as well. Almost what I like to see, sometimes on Dynamite, you'll get this random thing or something will happen. You're like, what's this all about? Everything kind of mattered tonight. Whatever you had Kenny Omega sort of getting that ring rust off, wanting to be the best bout machine. You had all of that. You had the addition to the Orange and Tony Marina and Wheeler Yuta. You had the Death Riders and the Don Callis family continuing their bit. You had the massive surprise of Tommaso Ciampa coming in. You've got the upheaval within the Don Callis family playing, and then you've also got so many people vying for the world championship. Cap that off with an amazing main event. AEW right now is on a huge roll. We're only 3 or 4 weeks into the year, I know that. But these last 12 to 18 months, they have been knocking it out of the park. And I'm all here for it. And I think it's fantastic. I can't wait to next week's Dynamite either, guys. This was a really strong. Every episode I've watched so far of Dynamite has been powerful, strong. It's delivered in so many different ways. And I've really been looking forward to my Dynamites on a Wednesday or Thursday morning over here in the UK. And more, please. Coming up on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, obviously review shows are dropping left, right, and centre. But on top of that, the podcast prediction league preview show will be coming tomorrow ahead of obviously the big pay-per-view at the weekend, and we will be running down the teams. We will be giving you the idea of the early tables. Plus, a new team has joined the prediction league at a late stage and will be debuting this weekend with their predictions. So look forward to that. Jimmy Jacobs, a former writer, a former 5-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, will be coming to the podcast as well very, very soon. Looking very much forward to speaking with Jimmy and everyone else. We've got Independent Showcase episodes dropping on top of all of that. Crazy Steve as well will drop this coming Tuesday, so don't forget to see that. But if you're just here for AEW, keep an eye out on this weekend. We'll be bringing you this weekend in wrestling. We'll round up everything and a whole lot more. Big weekend of wrestling, obviously, as ever on Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. If you're an energy drink fan, go to Dubby, our sponsors, and go and buy some energy drink. Hit HTT Buckle in the cart for 10% off your order. And follow us at HTT Buckle anywhere on social media services. We'll be back later on with some more stuff. As I said, podcast predictions. We've got a lot more stuff coming on the channel. Well, until then, everybody, stay elite, stay safe, and goodbye.